If you are struggling with memory issues or any kind of problems with your brain function, or you just want to make sure that that never happens to you, you've clicked on the right video. Welcome to my channel, Take Control of Your Health. I'm Dr. Cori Stern. So let's talk about what your brain is actually made out of and how it works. We'll just talk about that a little bit so you understand what the recommendations I'm going to make actually mean and why it's so important for you to eat certain foods to keep your brain working. And make sure to watch to the end because I'm going to give you my top tips for keeping your brain working for the rest of your life. Please, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, do so now. Hit the subscribe button. And at the end, if you liked it, hit like because it helps other people to find it. And don't forget to share this with anybody that you know that's struggling with their memory or their brain function. So most people don't realize that their brain is 60% fat. That's right. You can literally say you're a fathead because that's what your brain is mostly made out of. And that 25% of the total cholesterol in your body is in your brain. So if you're fat deficient or cholesterol deficient or both, your brain's not going to work well. And how many people actually try to avoid eating fat or cholesterol because they think it's bad for them? All right, that's what leads to conditions like dementia. And I have videos on these topics. I have a cholesterol video. I have a fat video so that you can learn more about that. But let's just go into it in a little more detail right now. What does fat actually do in your brain? One of its many functions is it acts as an insulator for the transmission of electrical impulses. So your brain sends out signals that travel along the neurons and the nerves to get to different parts of your body. But the brain itself, all the neurons have to communicate with each other. That's how you send signals to your whole body to do everything. You can't get anything done in the body without those electrical impulses. So the fat is what allows those impulses to travel. So you could see how important it is. Your synapses literally cannot connect without adequate fat in your brain. And there's also plenty of evidence that elderly people with the highest levels of cholesterol actually have the best memory and brain function and the lowest incidences of depression. Okay, so cholesterol, you've heard me say before, if you follow me, cholesterol is an essential nutrient. Your brain uses cholesterol to make hormones like progesterone and estrogen and cortisol and testosterone, and it uses cholesterol to make vitamin D. So, hello, nothing in your body is going to work without cholesterol. Cholesterol also helps with the cell membrane integrity. So in other words, every cell in your body has what we call a lipid covering or a fat covering with cholesterol in it. And in order for the cell to be healthy, it needs to have enough cholesterol and fat. And cholesterol also acts as an antioxidant. Your liver actually produces more cholesterol when you are under stress, when you're inflamed. So what do you need to do to keep your brain in tip-top shape? Well, let's get started. Number one, make sure that you're eating a variety of good quality fats. Omega-3 fatty acids are especially important to brain function and even more so for a child. So omega-3 fatty acids, and I go into this in more detail on my video called Fat, Is It Good or Bad? Omega-3 fatty acids are made up of two components. One is called EPA and one is called DHA. DHA is critically important for the development of the young brain. So babies and young children or even fetuses need DHA for the normal development of their brain and nervous system. DHA is also really good for people who are anxious, people who are nervous. DHA has a down-regulating effect on a hyper-regulated nervous system. And EPA, the other component, which is also critically important for your brain, is really good for people who tend to have depression. So it's like turning on a kind of sunshine in the brain. That's how I think of it. So good quality fats that you should be eating on a regular basis, as long as your body tolerates them, these particular things, right? If I say anything that you're allergic to or you can't digest, then don't eat that one. All right. Avocado is a good quality fat. Fresh nuts and seeds and nut butters, make sure they're fresh, because all of these things can go rancid, and rancid oil is not good for you. Grass-fed butter is great for your brain, and so is ghee. Ghee is clarified butter, butter oil. Coconut oil, and then fatty fish, like fatty cold water fish, like salmon, mackerel, sardines, and herring. And contrary to popular, what you might have been told or heard, animal fats, grass-fed lard and grass-fed tallow. Lard is pig fat, tallow is cow fat, duck fat, chicken fat. What's important is that the animal is fed properly. Okay, those fats are actually really good for you. Now, the next thing that you need to do is avoid toxins. There's a high correlation between being toxic and having dementia. So again, I have multiple videos on this topic, but toxins are found in food. So you have to eat cleanly. You have to eat clean, nutrient-dense foods. So clean means organic, non-GMO. Toxins are in your personal care products. Think about your shampoo, your hair dye, how close it is to your brain. Your skin absorbs all those things. Cleaning products, medications, and especially aluminum. Aluminum, there's been studies that show a connection between aluminum in the brain and Alzheimer's. Aluminum is found in aluminum cookware, antiperspirants, many medications, including Tums and Rolaids, and those V things that you get injected into you very often have aluminum in them. Okay, so it's very important to avoid aluminum and to possibly detox. If you have been exposed, if you need help with that, don't hesitate to reach out to me. My email address will be, and my website will be on the description of this video if you need help with detoxing or cleaning up your personal care stuff or your food. The next tip I have is to get enough sleep. Duh. Your brain doesn't work if you don't get adequate sleep. You produce most of your human growth hormone in your sleep, which helps to repair everything in your body while you're sleeping. Okay, so I repeat that over and over again on every single video. And then, of course, staying hydrated, because do you know that your brain is in a fluid-filled sac? And so is your heart, and so is your liver, and so is your spleen, and your whole spinal cord has fluid in it. Guess what fluid is? The fluid in your body is made out of. The basis of it is water, including your blood, right? So blood is water with red blood cells and some other stuff in it. The cerebrospinal fluid around your brain is mostly water with some other nutrients in it. Okay, so if you're dehydrated, your brain dries out literally, and then it's going to affect your function. So before I go into some of the supplements that I recommend for brain function, I want to give a shout out to my partner in truth, HATS, which stands for Hardcore Awakened Truth Seekers. This movement was inspired into creation amidst hyper political division in the last few years to get away from polarization and bring people together across the political spectrum to the truth and bring us a sense of community that allows us to move forward. This movement is making real strides in achieving this vision. So right now, HATS has a Telegram channel. So if you're on Telegram, I'll put the link in the description. And they also have a website where they're selling products to help support the movement. So they have wonderful t-shirts. I got my HATS mug here, which I'm always drinking out of. Wearing one of the shirts now. I have a whole bunch of them. They have new products. They have some really cool flag shirts. So every country is represented. And here in where I am in the US, it's starting to get cold. So they have hoodies, they have yoga mats. So just check them out, see if there's anything on there that you might want to purchase to support them. So now let's go into the actual supplements that I recommend for supporting your memory and your brain function. So the first one, and I do take some of these myself, not everything I'm going to go over is something that I take, because right now I'm not struggling with memory or brain function, but I want to make sure that I never do. And by the way, on my mother's side of the family, very many of my relatives, especially the females, have had dementia or Alzheimer's. So it does run in my family genetically. And I definitely want to prevent it. To me, that's like the worst fate that you can have, is to be alive and not know what's going on. So the first one that I love is ginkgo. So of course, the ginkgo I use is from my favorite company, Standard Process. This is ginkgo is an herb. So the subsidiary, the herbal subsidiary, is called MediHerb, and this is called Ginkgo Forte. And ginkgo increases microcirculation, so you get more blood moving around your brain. Not just your brain, it's good for your eyes, your ears, it's good for tinnitus, it's good for maintaining your vision. So it just makes your brain work better, makes your brain sharper. And what's interesting about ginkgo also is that it's radioprotective. It protects you against radiation. So in Hiroshima, with the bomb, the nuclear bomb that destroyed Hiroshima, the ginkgo tree was the only thing that survived because it can withstand radiation. And I think it's the oldest tree on planet Earth. Next, we have something called Gotu Kola complex. And Gotu Kola dissolves scar tissue. It dissolves fibrosis and increases microcirculation also. So if you have, let's say, fibrosis in your arteries, and that includes the arteries in your brain, it will dissolve it. So it's also good for your heart, your circulation. And it also is called, its other nickname is Botox in a bottle, because it actually improves your skin integrity. Okay. So this Gotu Kola that I use from MediHerb is called Gotu Kola Complex. And it also has a little ginkgo in it and some grapeseed. I'm going to talk about grapeseed in a minute. So this is kind of a combination formula. And by the way, everything that I'm talking about today, except for the next one, is you can get on my website. You go on my website, click on shop Standard Process, and you can order all of these things. There was a little bit of a problem with that link for a while, but it's fixed now. So if you did try to order in the past and couldn't, should be able to not have any problem now. The next one is called Bacopa. Have you ever heard of that? Bacopa. It is an aquatic plant that improves memory, and it has what's called a neuroprotective effect on your brain. So neuroprotective means it protects your nervous tissue. And ginkgo does that too. All right. So Bacopa has been shown to also help with reducing depression. It has a lot of other health-giving benefits. My next favorite one is Rhodiola and Ginseng. So both Rhodiola and Ginseng are adaptogens, meaning that they help your body adapt to stress, so that even though you're having stress, because stress never goes away, your body doesn't deteriorate from it. And they're both tonics also, so they increase your energy and alertness. So I've been taking Rhodiola and Ginseng for years. I love it. And, I have a very demanding life, and I feel like it really helps me to be able to meet the demands. The next one, oh, I forgot to bring that one home. Okay, the next one is called Vitanox. And Vitanox is almost like a multivitamin for your brain. It's a combination of rosemary, which improves concentration and mental performance, green tea leaf, which prevents Alzheimer's and slows aging, turmeric, which is anti-inflammatory and antioxidant, and grapeseed, which protects your blood vessels, makes them stronger, and also stabilizes collagen. So that's a wonderful a combination formula. Again, you can get all of these except the Bacopa on my website. If you want the Bacopa, just email me and I'll send it to you. The next one is called ribonucleic acid, or RNA, and many of you have heard those three letters RNA, and it could be a little bit confusing because sometimes it sounds like it's something bad, but RNA is a component of every cell in your body, and RNA gets depleted when you spend a lot of time on devices like computers and cell phones. It also gets depleted when you're focusing really hard, concentrating really hard, studying. So I call Rna the Study Supplement. I take this every day. It increases my alertness. It helps with my memory. It really does help with my memory. So like when I'm really spending too much time on devices, or I'm teaching, I teach seminars. Sometimes I teach 20-hour seminars and I have brain drain, and I just take a little bit of extra RNA. I call it the study supplement. So a lot of my patients who are students use this when they have a big test or when they have a big paper to write. And I also call it a natural Adderall. So if I have patients that are using Adderall, which is very toxic and really bad for you, I help them to get off the Adderall and use the RNA, which is completely natural and no side effects. And then the last supplement that I'm going to mention for your brain is called Super-EFF. And this is a type of essential fatty acid that's pre-digested. So we already talked about the importance of fat for your brain, but if you're having trouble digesting fat or absorbing fat, so for example, if you're having digestive problems where your gut is not absorbing well, or you're having gallbladder problems, you need your gallbladder to produce bile in order to digest fat. So if any of those things are not working for whatever reason, this is digested already. So you can bypass that whole problem and just get this into your brain and whatever else you need it in your body. And I'm telling you, I have so many people coming in with gallbladder problems that don't absorb fat well, and it affects your memory, it affects your mood. They have bad dreams sometimes. So this is a lifesaver. It's also really good for older people who are not producing enough, let's say, digestive enzymes anymore. and it's a gentle way of getting some fat into your body. So that's all my tips for now. I hope this was helpful. And please, again, like, share, and subscribe so we can keep this going. We are trying to get our population on planet Earth healthy so that we can carry the torch into the future. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon.